Spyro the Dragon was my very first video game, and if you grew up in the 90s, there's a good chance it was yours too, and after 20 years I'm going to finally finish it. Sure, I beat this game as a kid. I saw the credits, I fought Gnasty Loot, and I thought I was done, but I never got 120%. But with the release of the remastered version in 2018, I can fix that. And with Spyro 4 rumours heating up, I felt now was the best time to do just that. This is a full completionist run. Every single gem, every dragon egg, and that secret level I always wondered about. Quick backstory, I first played this game at my friend's house, and I immediately started begging my parents for a PlayStation. They finally caved in when I was sick, and bought me a PlayStation with Spyro Year of the Dragon. I finished that one, but the original, that became unfinished business. But not for long. Let's free some dragons.
Gnasty Loot is a simple creature.
Simple?
He has been contained in a remote world and is no threat to the Dragon Kingdom.
No threat?
Besides, he is ugly.
Ugly? That does it!
Huh? Looks like I've got some things to do.
There are 6 worlds in Spyro, and Artisans is where it all begins. It's the tutorial world. Colourful, vibrant, peaceful. The perfect introduction to Spyro's mechanics before things get serious. To 100% each level, we have to free all the dragons, collect all the gems, and in some cases retrieve a dragon egg. Each level also has an achievement attached to it. Simple enough at the start, but this world doesn't waste time teaching us that exploration is key, as we immediately get our first achievement for solving this puzzle and unlocking a secret level. Town Square is our first real level, and it serves as a good first introductory level. The enemies are easy, but they do actually fight back, unlike in the Artisans, and it does a great job in challenging the idea that everything will be easy to find, as it sets up an area that initially looks out of reach. But once we glide over to the area, we end up getting our second achievement. We get our first of 12 eggs we'll need to retrieve, and once we free the Thunder God Thor, we've 100%ed our first level. Stone Hill is the next level in the Artisans world, and it's one of my favourite opening levels of any game. The colours are vibrant, the level is wide open and gives you a sense of freedom that's just fun to play through. Like Town Square, it also does a good job of encouraging you to explore every single area. As to 100% this level, you will have to fully explore the level to find all the secret areas the game hides the gems in, as well as this key to unlock a locked chest. We complete the level once we find these last 2 gems, and the achievement isn't as colourful as the level, however, as we need to burn 10 sheep alive to make a lamb kebab for Sparks. I like how the developers were thinking, yeah, let's make an arson achievement for this kids game. Anyways, sheeps were sacrificed and Stone Hill was completed. Next up is Dark Hollow, and aesthetically, it's one of my favourite levels. The atmosphere is moody, and there's this hidden enchanted library area underneath it, which really adds to the fantasy element of this game. This level also does a great job of teaching you that you'll have to use different attacks for different enemies, and you can't just go charging in every time. It's a small difficulty spike, but a necessary one. After unlocking the locked chest, we can then get another fire-related achievement, and thankfully no murders were involved this time. Just a cozy lighting of some bonfires, which is much more wholesome. We decided to take on our first boss level of the game, Toasty. You would think the boss of the world would be difficult, right? Well, you'd be wrong, because the true boss of this level is these dogs that have the most ridiculous hitboxes and can survive flame attacks. I don't remember these dogs being as annoying when I was a kid. I had to take my time on this level, as there's an achievement linked to doing this boss hitless. Toasty himself poses no threat to you once you take care of the dogs, and in true 90s comedy, it turns out to be a sheep on stilts, which we're eventually able to defeat for the hitless achievement. And after doing some backtracking, we're also able to 100% our first boss level. The last level of the Artisans world was Sunny Flight, our first time trial level. Each world has one of these, and the goal of these levels is to destroy all the objects within the time limit. You would think it'd be a nice break from the other levels in Spyro, but these levels can get stressful, as you're racing against the clock. Fortunately for me, it only took a few attempts to get everything done underneath the time limit, and once we did so, we we were able to free roam the level and pull off this sick trick to get the achievement. And that's Artisans complete. World 1 down, 5 to go. Before we head to Peacemakers, I'm curious. What was your first video game? Was it on PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo, or even just pinball on your home computer? Drop it down in the comments. I want to know what started your gaming journey. Alright, on to Peacekeepers. It's time to move on to the next world. And before we can do so, we grab an achievement for taking a trip with Marco the Balloonist for the first time. Peacekeepers is a complete shift from the peaceful meadows of Artisans to a harsh desert with rocky terrains, dangerous tar pits, and cannons everywhere you look. The game at this point will encourage you to think outside of the box to unlock everything in a level, as you'll have to use your environment and the game mechanics to your advantage to unlock everything. Despite Sparks being a bit lazy towards the end, I mean seriously dude, you've literally one job. We're able to 100% the Peacekeepers world, and before we move on to our first level, we had to teach this rude Nork not to expose himself in public. First arson, now indecent exposure. Toys for Bob are really making us work hard for our achievements. Clifftown is the first level we tackle in Peacekeepers, and it really nails that run-down desert town aesthetic. Cacti scattered around the level, broken wagon wheels, and this massive gathering of vultures at the end of the level. It really reminds me of some of the towns in Red Dead Redemption. Speaking of vultures, we'll have to flame all of them for an achievement, and once we do so, we're free to explore the rest of the level and grab the rest of those gems for 100% completion. Next up is Dry Canyon, and the name doesn't lie, it's a massive canyon. The level is interesting because it feels empty, but also very full at the same time. There's also some great opportunities to test our gliding skills, as a good portion of the level is only accessible off a long glide, as well as a lot of hidden gems. Again, nothing too difficult yet, as the secret key is actually in plain sight. Again, I don't know what the developers had against the vultures, as there's another achievement related to defeating a vulture by charging it, which is one of the more easier achievements I've ever gotten. Dr. Shemp is the second boss we face, and the dragon we rescue tells us his weak point. He's a much easier boss than Toasty, as his attacks are slow and easy to dodge, and he's pretty caked up, which is distracting in its own way. Despite some visual distractions, we're able to take him down without any trouble, and using the key we found earlier in the level, we unlock this chest for an achievement, and then we glide over to this hidden island for the remaining gem. Night Flight is our next time trial level, and visually, I think it's one of the best designed levels in the game. The night sky looks stunning in the remastered version, and the purple crystals at the end of the level always reminded me of the power crystals from Crash Bandicoot. As beautiful as this level is, there's no room for error. And once again, the developers of this game woke up and chose violence, as we have to flame all the fairies in this level for another achievement. Yep, the fairies just trying to help us with directions, just burnt alive. What is wrong with these developers? The final level of Peacekeepers is Ice Cavern, and like Night Flight, it's visually gorgeous. The fog below adds an element of mystery, and the enemies really react to the icy terrain in fun ways. Some slip and slide due to the ice, and others just decide to take up skiing because why not? Speaking of skiing, we get an achievement for defeating 3 of these skiing enemies, and after opening this chest at the end of the level, we finally 100%ed our second world. Magic Crafters is the third world we visit in Spyro, and it feels like this is where the game truly leans into its fantasy atmosphere. The enemies in this level are druids, who can use magic, but outside of that, they're pretty harmless. But the level design is where things begin to get interesting. Exploration gets a bit tougher compared to previous worlds and levels, and this world also introduces us to the supercharge mechanic for the first time, which will be extremely prominent in the upcoming levels, and we use it here to break this chest and 100% Magic Crafters. We then return to the start of the level, where we charge through 3 druids, and in doing so, get ourselves another achievement. Wizard Peak is the first level of Magic Crafters, and we waste no time at all putting that new supercharge ability to work, as we launch ourselves over to this hidden island full of gems. It's a great way to show off this mechanic straight away. The enemies are slowly getting tougher, as you have to time your attacks carefully. The level makes great use of verticality, with areas stacked on top of each other. We glide to this hidden egg thief on a lone island, which we'll need to defeat for an achievement, and because also we need the egg to 100% the level. Blowhard is the boss of Magic Crafters, but unfortunately, like the majority of bosses in this game, he's a pushover. The level itself has some cool platforming moments, thanks to the druids helping you progress through the level, but overall this level is honestly one of the weakest in the game. Blowhard himself poses no real threat, and it seems like the developers never really cared for this level, as the achievement in this level is tied to 100%ing the level, which at the very least kills two birds with one stone. Now High Caves on the other hand is one of my favourite levels in the entire game. The druids have upped their game. There's these spiders that look invincible at first, and there's many gems hidden away that we'll need to use our supercharge to get to. Speaking of those spiders, we can beat them in two ways, either by supercharging them or by getting kissed by a fairy to unlock Super Flame. Both work, and after defeating all spiders, we earn the Arachnophobe achievement. After defeating this extremely powerful egg thief, seriously, this guy's more powerful than any of the bosses we've faced so far. We grabbed the last gem and 100% the High Caves. Great level and easily the highlight of Magic Crafters. Alpine Ridge is another beautifully designed level that's heavily focused on platforming and gliding. The druids have now gotten pet beasts they can sick on you, which adds a bit of a challenge. The level itself has this sense of hidden tranquility, an enclosed feeling to it, with the waterfalls and high walls surrounding everything. We set off 3 different fireworks to earn an achievement, then chase down this egg thief to grab our final dragon egg. That's all 12 eggs collected, and we've now ticked off the first requirement for 120%. And after picking up the last 2 gems, Alpine Ridge is complete. Crystal Flight is perhaps the easiest of all the time trial levels, and as the name suggests, it's a level encased entirely within crystals. Again, it really ties in with the fantasy theme around the Magic Crafters levels, and the time trial itself is very easy, as I was able to beat it on my very first try. And of course, the developers couldn't resist another act of senseless violence, so we earned the Hot Wings 2 achievement for flaming 2 helpful fairies, just trying to give us directions. At this point, I'm beginning to think Gnasty Loot isn't the main villain, it's us. Anyways, with that, it's time to move on to Beastmakers. Beastmakers is the second to last world before Gnasty's world, and it's a complete vibe shift. We're talking swampy terrain that's been taken over by Norks, who've turned this world into their own electric playground. The world itself feels genuinely alive. Muddy water bubbling away, tree stumps everywhere, huts and lily pads scattered throughout the area. It's got this lived-in quality that earlier worlds don't have. There's also a secret wishing well here, and at the bottom, all of our wishes come true, as we 100% the home world. And we also grab an achievement for flaming 5 mushrooms, because apparently even fungi aren't even safe from us. Terrace Village kicks off Beastmakers, and it's a solid if not unremarkable level. The enemies are noticeably tougher now. We're deep enough into the game that the Norks aren't messing around anymore. They've also discovered electricity, which means environmental hazards are a thing now. The level itself is pretty linear and straightforward, until you get to the very end, where hidden platforms can be reached by gliding. There's an achievement for setting off 3 fireworks within 15 seconds of each other. It's labelled as a rare achievement, which is nothing if not generous. After this achievement, we backtrack to the start, grab the remaining gems, and finish off the first level of Beastmakers. Misty Bog starts off strong, with us saving a chicken for literally the fastest achievement in the game. The level itself is a nice change from the darker, murkier levels we've been trudging through. It's more vibrant and more green, but still maintains that swampy Beastmakers aesthetic. Misty Bog is also an extremely fun level to explore. There's this hut tucked away in the corner of the level, and a hollow tree stump that leads to an entire underground portion of the level. The end of the level has a secret area that took me a minute to remember how to reach, but once we figured it out, we were able to break open this chest for the final yellow gem and get ourselves closer to that 120%. And now we arrive at Treetops, my favourite level in Spyro 1 and possibly in the entire trilogy, but also easily the hardest level to 100% in Spyro 1. Again, maybe the hardest in the whole series, honestly. Technically you could finish the level pretty quickly, but if you want everything in this level, you'll have to master the supercharged ramps. There's an achievement tied to jumping off all of them, but to reach the secret island, we need to nail 5 consecutive supercharged jumps. Some of them are extremely tight and you have no margin for error. Miss one jump and you're back at the start. This honestly took me more attempts than I'd like to admit, but it does feel good once you jump off that 5th ramp and reach the cliff. One final supercharged jump gets us to the final cliff above the end portal, where the remaining gems await, And with that, this fantastic, if not brutally difficult level for a kid is finally complete. Metalhead is the boss of Beastmakers, but before we can get to him, we've got gems to collect and monkeys to fight. And much like the dogs way back in Toasty's level, these monkeys actually pose a bit of a threat. Metalhead himself is also the first boss so far who poses some danger. He shoots electricity at you, and he throws monkeys at you in his second phase. All in all, however, he's easy to defeat, as long as you take your time with destroying the pylons. After defeating him, he drops a load of gems, but we're not done yet. There are still more gems scattered around the level that we need for 100%, including some hidden in a sewer area. The sewer area also has a key we need to unlock this last chest, which not only gives us 100% completion, but also an achievement for unlocking all the gems in the level. It was time for the second to last time trial level in this game, Wild Flight. Unlike Crystal Flight, which was a cakewalk, this level actually required some skill. The goals aren't linear here, so you can't just follow a path and call it good. You need precise movement, a clear route, and you actually have to use this loop-de-loop. A move that's never used outside of that one achievement, which is a shame, to stay on track. The level design itself is great, and it provides a nice visual contrast to the darker, gloomier levels of Beastmakers. After a few attempts, we beat the level, and we also unlock an achievement for doing so without touching the ground, which is a weird achievement for a flight level, but we'll take it. We moved on to Dreamweavers, the final world before Gnasty's domain. This world goes all in on the fantasy aesthetic. Magic is everywhere, reality feels slightly bent, and the whole place has this dreamlike quality that perfectly fits its name. The enemies here are monks, who by using a magic cannonball can change their size, which is a fun mechanic. Smaller enemies can be defeated by charging through them, and we get an achievement for charging through 3 of them in a row. Spyro can use the magic cannonball himself, shrinking larger enemies into smaller ones to progress through the level. And there's even invincible enemies, who when hit, raise platforms to help you reach new areas. After freeing all the dragons and collecting the gems, it's time to tackle what I think is the second hardest level in the game. Dark Passage is arguably the toughest level based on just getting through the level alone. The enemies are tough and unpredictable due to the gestures controlling the size of the enemies. Defeating the dogs in their large form does get us an achievement, so there's that at least. The level design is genuinely eerie. The path to the exit is set up like a cave system, lit only by torches on the walls and the flames from these devil enemies lurking in the shadows. It's atmospheric in a way most Spyro levels aren't, less charming, more unsettling. After setting off a firework at the very end, we bust open the locked chests and grab all the gems needed to 100% this scary level. Lofty Castle is next up, and it's an interesting one, as all the enemies in this level are flying enemies. The level is split across multiple floating islands, and to progress, you need to free caged fairies scattered throughout the level. Once freed, they help you reach new areas. Continuing the trend of previous levels, we get an achievement for charging through 4 puffer birds. After that, we use a supercharged ramp to reach a higher platform, grab the majority of the remaining gems, and wrap up the level and move on to the final time trial level. Icy Flight is the last time trial level in the game, and I'm torn between this and Wild Flight for which one's harder. There's absolutely zero room for error here. One mistake and you're back at the very start of the level. The level also requires a lot of backtracking to hit everything within the time limit, which just adds to the stress. Visually though, the level is stunning. The ice cold water, the set pieces, the whole frozen aesthetic. It's all beautifully designed. After a close call with the last chest in the level, we narrowly get it done in time. We also unlock an achievement for finishing the level without touching the ground, which at this point feels like the game's go-to achievement for flight levels. Haunted Towers is the last non-boss level in Dreamweavers, and the enemies here do not mess around. I immediately forgot that these suits of armour can only be defeated from the Super Flame power-up that the fairies give you, so I wasted a bit of time trying to flame them and charge them. The whole level revolves around using Super Flame to progress through metal doors and smash open locked chests. And honestly, Super Flame is incredibly satisfying to use. There's something deeply rewarding about breaking open multiple chests in one go and just watching gems explode everywhere. This level is packed full of secret areas, and in the last area, we defeat the last suit of armour to earn another achievement, and then we glide back to the start of the level to pick up the last of the gems. Jax is the final boss before Gnasty Nork himself, and much like the other bosses, the level leading up to him is harder than the actual fight. We need to use these gestures in order to reach platforms otherwise not attainable to 100% this level. And continuing Dreamweaver's trend, there's an achievement for defeating 4 enemies in a row. I'll take that over murdering innocent fairies all day. Jax himself is easy as long as you keep up with him through platforming. He barely gets a chance to attack you if you're aggressive enough, and when he goes down, he drops a load of gems. And after unlocking the locked chest with the key we got earlier, we've now 100%ed all of Dreamweaver's, which leaves only one more world. We finally reached Gnasty's world, and unlike the previous worlds, the levels had to be done in order. First up, Nork Cove. This level is packed with fun little Easter eggs. There's TNT boxes that are a clear Crash Bandicoot reference, and enemies throwing barrels overhead like Donkey Kong. It's a nice nostalgic touch. The level itself is pretty easy and straightforward, and a lot of the enemies can be taken out using the TNT and barrels scattered around, which makes things easier. And in a bizarre twist for the game, there's actually an achievement for doing a pacifist run and not killing any of the rats. Finally, an achievement that doesn't require mass murder. It's a good introductory level for the final world, and after unlocking this chest, we're one step closer to Gnasty's loot. Twilight Harbour is next, and I did not get off to a great start. Let's just say I died immediately and leave it at that. This level has a serious argument for being the hardest in terms of enemy difficulty. The Norks here shoot in a wide spread once you get close, which makes approaching them a nightmare. To fully complete this level, we'll have to reach secret areas using this ramp we can only get up to using a supercharge. Despite the level's best efforts to kill me repeatedly, I managed to scrape by and collect all the gems. I had to replay the level to get the achievement, but that's all good, as we could now finally confront Gnasty Nork. It's finally time. The final boss, Gnasty Nork himself. And honestly, as much as I love this game, Gnasty Nork as a final boss is a massive letdown. The first part of the level has you chasing down egg thieves holding keys. Annoying, but fine. But then you finally reach Gnasty, and instead of facing you head on or using the spell that turned every dragon more powerful than Spyro into stone, he just runs away from you. That's it. He runs in circles around his arena while you chase him, and the achievement requires you to make him run around 5 full times, which is just tedious. The platforming section at the end should be challenging at this point in the game, but it's not. And Gnasty can't even land a hit on you when you're standing right next to him. It's disappointing, honestly. But at least we get to watch the victory cutscene after taking him down.
What about Gnasty Gnork?
Gnasty Nork is toast.
So now there's order again in the Dragon Kingdom?
Well, mostly. I've still got some treasure to find.
What will you do next?
I'd say the sky's the limit.
Gnasty Nork defeated, but we're not done yet. After returning to Gnasty's world, we free the final dragon, who tells us Gnasty has hidden away treasure that can only be unlocked once we've gotten 100%. It turns out I'd missed 2 gems next to the balloonist, because Sparks wasn't doing his job again, and after picking them up, the door to Gnasty's loot opened, as well as an achievement for unlocking it. Now Gnasty's loot is special to me, because I never played it as a kid. I beat the game, I saw the ending, and I just moved on. As a kid, you don't really care about 100% completion. You just want to finish the game and see the credits roll. So getting to experience this level for the first time as an adult, that's pretty cool. The level itself is super fun to play, and I wish I could have first experienced it as a kid, because you just get to fly around the entire level and just get a load of gems, and chase after egg thieves, who have seemingly indestructible planes, and also set off fireworks. Speaking of fireworks, the best is yet to come, as Gnasty's final room not only has motivational posters, it's got a load of firework chests that we can set off for one final chain explosion that as an adult is a dopamine overload. So maybe it's best I didn't play this level as a kid. After collecting every last gem, we unlocked the final achievement, and we finally 120%ed Spyro. And that's it. Spyro the Dragon, fully completed, every achievement unlocked, 120% done. Replaying childhood favourites is always a good time, and Spyro delivered exactly what I wanted. Nostalgic vibes, tight platforming, and that satisfying completionist feeling. Even after all these years, this game holds up. If you enjoyed the video, I'd really appreciate if you could like and subscribe for more achievement videos. It really helps the channel grow. And don't forget, drop a comment letting me know what your favourite game was growing up. I'm curious to see what everyone's answers are. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. And I think you can probably guess what game that's going to be.
Well, well. Someone forgot to invite me to the party.